Hi everybody, we got a video for you today to go over the new next-gen radio and ESC only unit that we're releasing. So this is the new radio. This is an all brand new system. This has a lot more power. It's got its own protocol, so you'll have less issues with interference or binding in the high Wi-Fi environments. This has all the same features as the current radio. Has steering and throttle reversing. It has steering trim, throttle trim, and the dual rate. On-off switches up here. Everything is under a cover so that adjustments won't get bumped when you're messing around with the radio. Well, we'll warn you that there's LEDs in here for the on-off lights. They are very bright. The covers help with that, but if they're too bright for you, you can just put a piece of tape over that. The receiver itself is a small receiver. It's thin, so it fits the car really good. It does have a very long antenna wire, and we'll show you about how to put that on there. This is a coax type wire, so you're going to want to make sure you don't kink it or bend it. It does have the steering port, the throttle port. It has a third port for your transponder and then a bind port. It does come with a bind plug, and this has a little stick on here. It has a fail-safe system, and there's information in the instructions on how to set that up. The speed control unit is basically the exact same speed control as we have today in the car, but it's obviously a lot smaller because it doesn't have the receiver portion. All the setup, all the advanced features are exactly the same as the current one. So it has all the correct wire lengths on there for you, so it's just a drop in the car and you can go. So we're going to show you how to install this in the car. Basically what you're going to want to do is take out the existing ESC receiver unit that's located in the car, right in this area here. So just remove the two screws, pull that out. You might have to take the side panel loose to get the battery wire out of there. And then just pull all these wires away to get them out of the way. We do recommend take the tail tank off, take the driver out, take this visor off. Be a little bit easier to get everything in there. So the first thing you're going to want to do is on the battery box, you're going to have to make a little modification to this. So there's two posts on the front of the current battery box right here. You're going to want to cut this right side post off. So you can use side cutters or flush cuts. Just put that down there, snip that post off. If it's not flush, use an X-Acto knife to trim it off. Be very careful if you do that, or you can use a file to get it down because you want this area very flat. So what we're going to do is it's going to be a little bit different setup. So you're going to mount the receiver in front of the servo right here, and then you're going to put the speed control on top of the servo. That's going to keep it low so the driver and everything fits in there. So we recommend mounting the speed control first just because of the routing the wires. So we give you a couple pieces of servo tape when you buy the upgrade kit. Just peel off one of these sides of the servo tape and center this on the bottom of the speed control. The speed control has a little plate down here, nice flat plate on the bottom side. Just put that on there. When you go to push on that, make sure you grab the side of the speedo and push on it. Don't just pinch it because there's electronic pieces here. You don't want to damage that. So when you put this in the car, you're going to actually put the wires towards the back, going towards the back of the car. You're going to want to put the front edge of this ESC unit at the front of the servo or at the back of the servo mount post here. So go ahead and peel this piece off. And you're going to get that down in the car. Just center it side to side. Get it pretty close to the front edge of the servo. Get that in there. Put a little force on each side. Kind of wiggle it around. Make sure you got good adhesion with the servo tape. And then as far as routing the wires, we recommend the switch wire. You run down the left side of the car, just like this. The switch has the tabs on it to mount into the battery box, just like the current switch. So run the switch down there. Line it up with the grooves, push that in, and then you can kind of tuck those wires nice and tight down there. The battery wire, we recommend running down the right side of the car. This wire is a little bit long so that you have a little bit of play in this, but run it right down the right side, and then you're going to put this plug right back through the opening in the battery box area where the current plug is. And you might have to, if your panel's loose, it'll be a little easier to put this in. You'll push that through there, and then you'll want to just kind of just let these wires just kind of rest in here. But you'll have a little bit of play in there when you hook the battery up to kind of move that wire around a little bit. So we're going to hook up the control lead in a second and also the servo control in a minute, but we're going to do the motor first. So one important thing when you do the motor, There's only one way that the plug will go together because it's got a tab on it. But you're going to want to make sure that you run the motor wire, the extra motor wire, underneath the A post in the back of the car. Just like that. And you can use something to kind of pull that through there. And then you're going to want to tuck the plug nice and tight down there. And you can kind of put a little bend in this wire back at the back to keep it in place. The reason you want that over on the right-hand side is if you have it on the left, this plug will get underneath the driver and the suspension won't move up and down like it's supposed to. So just make sure that that's over on the right side, kind of tucked in there like that. Next thing you're going to want to do is put the receiver in. And you're going to take the other piece of servo tape, peel off one of the backing pieces. And you're going to want to put the servo tape underneath the plug area on the bottom side. So you're going to want to line it up side to side, line it up at the back edge, push that down, make sure it's nice and stuck, pull off the other side, and then you're going to put this right in here. You're going to use this post that you left on here and also use the servo post here to align this. So you're going to put it in there, push it up against the servo, over against the other post, get it nice and straight, just push down, and it's in there. This antenna wire is very long, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run it down the left side of the car, but you can tuck it underneath the A post, just like this, and then just grab that. Don't pull on it, just get it all tucked in where it's supposed to be, and just kind of route it like that. Make sure you leave a nice loop right here, though. Don't kink this wire. If you kink the coax wire, it could have signal interference. So just tuck that down on the left side of the car, just like that. Then you're going to plug in all of your control wires from the ESC. This one that's got white, black, and red. The white is the signal. The white always goes towards the sticker. So make sure that's innate because it is polarity specific. So you're going to plug the ESC into number 2, channel 2. And then on the servo wire, same thing. Make sure you get that plugged in right. Plug that into channel 1. And then you can go ahead and just tuck all the wires down in there. If your servo wire is short, depending on what servo you run, you can run that up over the top of the speed control. That's not a problem to do that. So once that's all in, just make sure all your wires are there, put everything back together, put the driver back in. When you put the tail tank on, you'll just kind of loop this wire in the tail tank and then make sure your motor wire's in there. Put the driver in first and then check the suspension, then put the tail tank on, make sure everything is good there, make sure you don't have any interference, make sure your suspension is nice and free. Same with the front, make sure everything in the front is all free and all that. And that's everything you need to know about how to install it. It's pretty easy to install. The speed control sets up just like the existing speed control. You get into the features menu, exactly the same. We have some instruction stuff online on how to do that if you don't have that. We got information for the radio online as well. If you have any issues putting it in, setting it up, whatever, hit us up on our support email and we'll get back to you right away. Or you can hit us up on Facebook Messenger, Twitter, Instagram, all them, and we'll get back to you right away. Make sure you keep watching our website and our social media pages. We got some more really cool stuff coming out. And thanks for watching.